right now on 9 News Morning. It's the sound of the season. Another day of severe weather in Colorado, this time hitting right in the middle of the metro area.
It's been kind of a crazy spring.
This morning, we're live with the impacts and a look at what else is in store this holiday weekend. The weather is not helping those already stuck at DIA. An update this morning on operations as the airport expects yet another busy day of travel ahead of the 4th of July. And get your best cosplay ready. Fan Expo returns to Denver this weekend. We're live with a look ahead at the fun plan for the convention center. 9 News Mornings starts now.
We're going to get to all those stories, but first want to take a live look outside at the metro area. Oh my goodness, a much calmer sight than the last 24 hours as we're still seeing some of the aftermath from the storms this morning. The storm started to the west, moved fast, hitting parts of Denver hard. This is Colfax and Vrain near the Circa West apartments. Caroline shared this video saying the south side of Colfax was basically a stream. You can see the sidewalk completely covered with water about halfway up the tires of those cars parked on the road. Michael saw a similar sight from his porch along Sloan's Lake. That is 17th Street that you're seeing down there. The hail covering the ground, but more than that, all of that water had nowhere to go, turning the north side of 17th into another stream that drivers had to try and navigate.
Then that storm moved east. This is Bennett, where firefighters say they rescued someone trapped in a vehicle near Highway 36 and Peterson Road. First responders were also called to investigate reports of several stuck vehicles about 6 miles north of that area. You can see just how fast that water is moving along there. Bennett also saw its fair share of hail yesterday, maybe more so given the city brought out the snowplows to move it off the roads.
Good Friday morning, everyone. We do have team coverage of the impacts of this latest round of storms. Courtney Yoon live with a look at road conditions now. Brianna also keeping an eye on the roads as well.
But let's start with your forecast, Ed. We are looking at another round of storms yet again today.
Yes, and the one advantage we have for today is it's going to be a little bit cooler, so maybe not as severe. However, yesterday they were severe. We were under tornado watch until 9 o'clock last night for the metro area and parts of the northeast. Here are the temperatures we're seeing now. They're on the cool side, 50s, 60s east, 30s, 40s higher up, and 40s and 50s out to the west. Showers and thunderstorms are now just leaving as they did yesterday, but they will be back again this afternoon. You can see showers and thunderstorms widespread across the area, and some will be heavy once again over the eastern plains under the gun for those powerful storms. So 71 degrees today with a good chance for storms, but look at how we dry it out tomorrow. Only an isolated storm. We get to 80 degrees, 85 on your Sunday. Monday will be 88 degrees, only an isolated storm. And then for the 4th of July holiday, 86, a little better chance for storms.
Thank you, Ed. And right now we're taking a live look of I-25. This is near 20th Street. This is where viewers were sending us videos and pictures of some standing water. Our reporter, Courtney Yoon, she's going to be showing us later on throughout the show. Now, I do want to switch things over to our main maps because we are tracking a crash that's causing some major backups. This is at the intersection of eastbound I-76. It is closed near East 470 and 136th Avenue. That's involving, the Brighton police says that this is involving a pedestrian. So again, this is going to cause some major backups throughout the morning. So give yourself plenty of extra time if this is part of your morning drive.
That's some good advice, Brianna. Thank you. Well, metro area highways also flooded in Thursday's storms. Just check out I-25 at 15th. Those are the southbound lanes down there covered in water. It was deeper on the lanes close to the retaining wall, but still people decided to try to give it a shot. Our Courtney Yoon continues our team coverage this morning live overlooking I-25. Courtney, how does it look right now?
Yeah, good morning, Jordan. We're along I-25 kind of near 16th here, and the drive seems to be going fine today. Traffic over here seems to be moving smoothly, but it was a totally different story yesterday. That severe weather came through the Denver metro, flooding highways, underpasses, and off-ramps, and it really slowed down commuters. Take a look. This is video from I-25 and 20th yesterday. You can see just how high the water is on the highway and just how much it slowed down traffic. Some vehicles were stalling out in the standing water and got stranded, having to wait for help. And then this is an inside view of a driver going through high water. When water is this high, it's always best to turn around, don't drown. You never know how deep the water is. Your car could become submerged and even swept away. Denver Fire was called out to the area of West 38th Avenue and Fox Street after reports of a car submerged in the water flooding the underpass. Dive crews were able to determine no one was trapped in the car and all of the divers did get out of the water safely. DFD reminded drivers drivers again not to drive through standing water. People in Edgewater had a lot to clean up after a hailstorm came through their neighborhood. They watched as their cars and windows got hammered with ice. One resident tried to run out and cover his car with a blanket, but it was too late.
Oh yeah, it was super loud. I mean, it was like just pelting, and we've got some like skylights in our house, and it was just like the crackling off of those. And then just standing on the porch watching our poor car out here, and we're like, for sure thought this was going to be super dented.
After all of that, the storms kept moving out east, and it got so bad, the hail over in Bennett, that they had to bring out the snow plows last night to clean all of that up. So definitely some issues that people were dealing with yesterday, and definitely some things that we learned, one of them being not to drive through standing water. Jordan?
All right, Courtney, we'll check back in with you for a look at the conditions as more people wake up for their morning commute. Thank you.
I'm glad to see that the roads are looking better, especially after this. The hail that hit Denver sent people running for cover at Elitch Gardens. That includes Chloe, who shared this video with us. Julie was there too, shared a different angle of the storm over Elitch's. The open areas were all but deserted as people were huddled under the shelter. The Rockies had a game last night, but the storm definitely put that on hold for a few hours. Christina sent us this picture of the hail covering the pavement up on the ground levels of Coors Field. Kelsey was down in the dugout, sent us this video as well. Looks like a giant snow pile. After it was all done, though, we did get a great Colorado sunset out of it. Christina shared this photo taken from downtown Denver. We couldn't tell this weather story without your pictures. You were definitely our eyes and our ears. If you have any more photos or videos from yesterday's storm, feel free to text them to us, 303-871-1491. As always, you can keep track of the forecast anytime and anywhere using the 9 News app. It is free to download on the Apple and Google Play stores.
The storms are doing no favors for those already stuck at DIA after a week of airline cancellations and delays. Problems that persist even this morning. A look at FlightAware shows 54 cancellations in and out of Denver so far. 47 of those are United flights. A few dozen other trips are delayed this morning as well. We are now well into the July 4th travel period, and DIA predicted today to be another one of its busiest days tied to the holiday, estimating more than 70,000 passengers would move through TSA checkpoints. Given the weather and the airline issues from the last few days, experts say it's more important now than ever to check your flight status before you head out to the airport.
It might be sunny where you are, but you don't know where that aircraft has been or is going, or where the crew might have been coming from or going to.
One other thing about DIA, this morning the airport opened 4 new TSA pre-check lanes at the south checkpoint in anticipation of those crowds. Happening today, the Dutco Sheriff's Office will go out once again as it tallies the damage from last week's Highlands Ranch tornado.
Yeah, they started that process yesterday, going door to door along the 6-mile path of the tornado. The department needs the information so it can ask FEMA for money. Kate Eastman has a look at the damage.
And we were told by some of your neighbors that a tree fell upon your house.
Every homeowner knows the extent of their own damage from the tornado that came through Highlands Ranch last week.
Is your house insured?
Yeah. But Deputy Andrew Bowman and several other Douglas County crews are going door to door to figure out the extent of all the damage on everyone's homes.
We're just trying to get a good ballpark estimate.
The county says about 16,000 trees were taken down. They don't know how many homes were damaged, and they need to get that information in order to be eligible for a presidential disaster declaration.
We want to help our citizens as much as possible. That declaration would open what's called a public assistance grant, and that would help all of our public facilities.
The director of the Office of Emergency Management, Deborah Schnockenberg, says they've already met the county's $1.5 million threshold for a disaster, but the state's threshold is $10 million.
That information comes back to us here in our mobile command post, and we have a lifetime view of what's been checked, what the damages are, and we are beginning to build a database with a running total on it that we can then give to the state here shortly to continue this process.
We're looking at just like the actual effect that came upon the household itself.
The county expects the assessment process to take about 2 days.
Water damage or anything like that?
The aftermath of a tornado is not something they're used to.
We've got this.
But they're confident they've got a handle on it.
We never expected to see a tornado rip through downtown Highlands.
No, did not believe it. Well, have a good day.
Eastman reporting. Now, there are a couple debris drop-off sites for people cleaning up their homes and yards. Island Heritage Park and Griggs Road site are both open this weekend. Another site at Redstone Park is closed, though, for a few days so they can catch up on the mulching and the stuff that's already been dropped off.
Right now, we are waiting on a few more U.S. Supreme Court decisions before the term ends today. That includes whether the court will cancel President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness plan and an anti-discrimination case out of Colorado. This one involves a website designer who wants to start designing websites, but not for same-sex couples. Colorado's anti-discrimination law doesn't allow that. The designer says that is a violation of her First Amendment rights. The High Court has already ended affirmative action in the college admission process. The 6-3 ruling means colleges and universities can no longer take race into consideration as a basis for granting admission. The law had benefited Black and Latino students for more than 4 decades. The case was brought against Harvard and the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. The majority opinion, written by conservative Chief Justice John Roberts, says the schools used race in a negative way and used racial stereotyping to grant admission. The opinion says the programs violate the Equal Protection Clause of the Constitution. In their dissent, the court's 3 liberal justices said other methods of ensuring diversity are not going to help. President Joe Biden says he strongly disagrees with the court's decision.
I believe our colleges are stronger when they're racially diverse. We cannot let this decision be the last word. I want to emphasize, we cannot let this decision be the last word.
Denver, the vice president of diversity and inclusion, says the High Court's decision will affect more than the number of students on color on campus.
This was a very negative decision, one that certainly is going to have some impact, make it harder for people from underrepresented backgrounds to make their way into spaces of education, which then impacts the workforce.
You can already see what is happening in other states that banned affirmative action in the past, like Michigan, where Black students make up 7% of the student population at the University of Michigan in 2006 before it was banned, and then 4% by 2021. In the 8 a.m. hour on Channel 20, our legal expert will be weighing in on the affirmative action decision.